All right, tell me what's the first place you think of? Rolling green hills, stunning scenery, friendly people. Hi, ladies. And a kilt. All right, we're not in Scotland. We're actually in downtown Armadale, and we're about to go for a Sunday morning run, obviously. This is the Highland Gathering, where bonny lasses and not-so-wee lads celebrate all things Scottish, infuse a little Irish and Celtic influences, and you've got all bases covered for a fantastic day out. The strongman competition is a highlight, the Scots having seemingly pioneered manual movement of all kinds of heavy objects in a variety of different ways. The Scots are a competitive bunch. A couple of hundred years back, they decided even dancing wasn't off limits and have been pitting their offspring against each other ever since in a dance to the death. Well, not quite. How talented are these kids? Without doubt, the centrepiece of the Highland Gathering is the kilt run. It's essentially what you'd imagine a Scottish mini-marathon to be. Finally, an athletic event for all ages where running shoes can be legitimately combined with kilts. Chariots of tartan, anyone? And while this is the most fun you can have in a kilt, it is, in true Scottish fashion, a competition with one winner. And no one was game to stand in the way of a man named after the Norse god of thunder.
I grew up in Perth, Canada, where my father actually founded the very first kilt race. So it's been a growing event back home, and now I've been traveling in Australia, and we had to come here for the race, of course.
The Highland Gathering is just one of so many events that the City of Armadale puts on to engage a growing community and to entertain the thousands of visitors that come here every year. Henry, a massive event here today. Is this all part of the grand plan to bring people to Armadale?
Well, it is indeed, and it's just one element of the number of events that we stage each year, Australia Day being probably our prime type event.
Have you seen a lot of growth here in the past 5-10 years?
The growth, we're growing at about 5.5% a year, so it's been significant. We've gone from a population of only 10 years ago of about 50,000, we're now over 75.
And a lot of different people down there today. Is that an example of all different kinds of people moving to Armadale?
We've got quite an ethnic mix here. People, I believe 70 languages are spoke here in the city of Armadale nowadays, unlike it was 50 years ago where it's just one.
Cooperation between government and the business community has led to the establishment of Forestdale Business Park, one of the big draw cards to the area, with new families moving into new suburbs nearby like Harrisdale and Piara Waters to take up the new job opportunities created by businesses choosing to base their operations here. Paul, tell us how business is growing in Armadale.
It's growing very rapidly. There's the new business park there. It's one of the areas that's growing, and that's growing by about it's 1,200 workers there currently, and there'll be 2,500 workers by next year there. And there's a double in that amount of businesses that'll be there, obviously. Up to 14,000 eventually, that's where they're heading, and that's getting there very rapidly, with Hitachi moving in there, spending $100 million. They're going to employ 350 people, which is fantastic. I think within half an hour of this area, there's about 500,000 people, and there's mainly definitely blue collar and a lot of white collar workers here, and I think there's a lot to offer.
Now, I have to admit, it actually had been a long time since I last came to Armadale, and honestly, so much has changed. The vibe is great, the people are so friendly, so it's actually one of the fastest growing cities in the state, and it's so easy to see why. Heaps of parks and the gorgeous hills loaded with restaurants, wineries and orchids are making Armadale such a haven for families. And for visitors, well, look out for the next Highland Gathering in spring 2015. It'll be a wee ripper.